So if you are a real estate wholesaler and you are looking for more off-market deals, I want to share with you this brand new case study that I just got last night on one of our customers who generated 87 motivated seller leads in the past 69 days with only a $25 per day budget, and how he was able to turn this $1,700 in ad spend into $9,200 that's cash already in his bank account. And the craziest part about this case study is that we are a marketing agency. I've personally been running Facebook ads for real estate investors for the past 5 years, and I've been working in the real estate industry for the past 8 years. And I've spent millions of dollars running these types of ads. And what's crazy about this case study right here is that this customer actually ran his own ads from our software and used our AI booking bot to actually help him close these deals. And so although I have an agency where we do a done for you service, this is one of our customers who used our software to do it completely himself. And so he didn't have to pay an expensive agency to manage his ads for him or anything like that. I've been able to turn my knowledge into an actual system and software for real estate wholesalers, and so they can get results like this. So I'm super excited to show you the results from this case study and show you how exactly this works in case you would like to do the same. So first things first, here is complete proof, and this is a message that I got from this customer last night after just checking in with him. And you can see here that they netted $9,200 on just one of the deals that they locked up. And they have 2 other leads that they've turned into contracts. So I'll break down all the data so you can see it really clearly, but just so you can see it in the most simple form, he has put $1,700 in ad spend to already make a $9,200 assignment fee. And he has never gone over a $25 per day budget. And he's just using our software to launch the ads and using our AI system to qualify the leads. So the first thing I'm going to show you is just the strategy and the journey for the lead so you can understand how exactly it works. And then I'll break down all the data and give you guys some nuggets if you guys plan on doing this for your own business, okay? So the first step to our process, as you can see here in our software, is you go to the Facebook ads tab that is inside of the actual system. Then you click on launch new campaign, you choose Facebook and Instagram, and then I recommend the long form seller lead form, and I'll explain some more of that in detail and show you the metrics for this particular customer here. But basically inside of here, we have templates for all 50 states, and we have different videos and ad templates that we've used to find motivated seller leads. And so basically you click on the state that is most relevant to where you want to find deals, or you can choose one of the templates that can be used in multiple states if you're doing virtual wholesaling, which is what we really specialize in. This system specializes in is finding motivated sellers in virtual markets. Ideally, you're in 5 to 10 or more different states that you are looking for these sellers. That's really the sweet spot, and I'll break all that down. But basically, you choose this ad template, you put in your budget, and then from there, you'll be given a link here. You access the link right here in the site section. And this link goes to a funnel, which will qualify the motivated seller lead. So all you do is click the ad, put in your daily budget of $20 to $25, and then you put in the link to the funnel. And then from there, you basically just choose where you want to market. So you can choose different cities, different counties, and load them all up here. Now, once you launch this ad, that ad gets published to Facebook, and it includes the exact image and the copy and everything that is proven to work for finding motivated sellers. And then it also creates a bunch of qualifying questions automatically, like the lead's reason for selling, their time frame for selling, their property type, making sure it's not listed, the address, all that good stuff, so that when the lead comes in, you actually have all that information for you already. And then what this particular customer did is he actually modified the bot that is included, and I'll show you how that works. But basically, you can see this is the lead journey for the one that actually converted into a deal. And I'll break down all the data, but you can see that they filled out that form, just like on one of the ads that I showed you here. And then from there, they actually completed the survey, which is on that funnel that I mentioned. And then on top of that, they also booked in their own appointment inside of the funnel as well, and they wanted to book another appointment via the bot. So this person was super motivated. So basically, this customer modified the bot. The blue message is being sent automatically from the system. The system can text message, it can email, and I'll walk you through everything it has. but basically it's texting the seller lead right as they fill out the form. And so it confirms that the lead that filled out their information is the owner, and it includes the address. And then you can see there's a question here. I blurred it out because this is actually his own, he modified slightly what I put in the question here, but I don't want to show his exact thing that he did. But basically, he asks the lead what type of structure are they interested in. And so they put all. Then he asked the asking price, making sure that there's nothing else going on with the property that he should know about, and then the time frame for selling, and then the actual appointment getting booked in right here. So one of the things people ask too is like, do you run ads on the holidays, or do you run ads 24/7? And there's all these different ways to do it. And I've seen I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars in deals come in on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Here's one for New Year's Eve. I've seen another one on New Year's Day, and even things like Easter and stuff like that. And so, this is just kind of the truth that there's people that need to sell at any point in time, and you never know when, now would be the time for them to fill out that form and basically inquire. And so you can see here, she actually, booked in the appointment for New Year's Eve. And the lead came in on the 29th, so 2 days before New Year's Eve. So that's the journey this lead went through. They saw the ad, they filled out all those questions on the form, and then they even engaged with the bot here, and there were even more questions he had added, but I didn't want to screenshot all of them, and basically they booked another appointment here. Okay, and then here is the other message from that same lead who basically confirmed they will review and sign this evening. And this deal was actually closed on February 14th, and the lead inquired on December 29th. So this lead was really motivated to sell, and this was pretty much instantaneous profit for the customer who launched his ads, got all his ad spend back, got the software feedback, and can now basically has all these leads for free and can keep marketing, right? So this is kind of the sweet spot formula, is virtual markets, having a low budget, getting that first deal in the first 45 days and getting money in the account, and then basically just using house money to, keep the system going. So this was executed perfectly. I designed the system. I've spent the years building it. And then, it was just executed perfectly. Okay. So this was another journey, customer journey that I thought was insane because I hadn't even looked at this until I started compiling this video. So this is the same process, right? A motivated seller sees the ad, fills out the form, goes through the questions, and then starts interacting with the bot. Now, what's crazy is I do not speak Vietnamese. I don't really speak any other language. I speak a little bit of Spanish, barely. But I built this bot and this system in English, right? And this lead responded in Vietnamese, and the bot just started qualifying the lead and booking the lead in Vietnamese, guys. So, this would not have really been possible even just a few years ago unless you were translating it with Google Translate. But this AI that I've built literally just responded better to the lead than I could have or anyone could have, and they responded at 4:43 in the morning, and it responded pretty much instantly. And so this is a lead that then turned into an actual contract. This is not a closed deal yet, but everything looks good so far from feedback from the customer. So I just wanted to show you that quick screenshot of this other lead because to me, that's insane that actually happened. I was blown away when I looked that up. So that's the other lead that turned into a contract. And then here is the other lead that turned into a contract as well. And so they basically filled out the form, started interacting with all the questions from the bot, the same ones that I showed at the first lead. And then basically the bot scheduled them into an appointment. And, that's the other lead that turned into a contract. So now let me break down the data for those of you that are interested in kind of the marketing data and stuff like that. I know a lot of people that, watch me are also agency owners. And so you guys can see, the data here. But I'll break this down and kind of give you some, nuggets on this stuff as well. So basically, because this customer decided to use the software, he is responsible for running his own ads. Now, when someone buys the software from us, they get a course from me that basically walks them through exactly, through launching their ad, linking the funnel, all that good stuff. And so one of the kind of things with the software is there are two different strategies. There's a short form strategy, which basically collects less information from the lead on the form, creating a lower cost per lead and creating more volume per lead, but also lowering the conversion rate of the actual, number of leads it takes to get a deal. The second strategy we have is a long form. Okay. So the long form has all those 5 qualifying questions I mentioned before. And so that costs more to get some people to fill that out. And you can actually see, I'll show you what's interesting about the data in just a second, but you can see that in most cases, it should create a lower cost per lead for a shorter form. But I thought this was interesting to include this because, it's very important to not just pay attention to the cost per lead, but also the cost per closed deal and which ad is actually performing best. So I'll break this down very simple. So the client originally started with a long form lead form, right? So that means it had all those qualifying questions, which in theory and in most cases costs more to get someone to fill it out. So he spent $741 on that particular strategy, and never going over a $25 per day budget. So this was right under a month of basically running the ad, right? And it may have been a month. Sometimes Facebook spends a little bit more, but the budget was set for $25 per day. So $741 spent. The cost per lead for the long form was $18. So it costs $18 for someone to give us why they're selling, their time frame for selling, the property type, making sure it's not listed, the address, the name, the email, the phone number. So quite a bit of information, right? And this just weeds out people that are not actual property owners or sellers. And so this is, what the long form does. So $18 to get one of those submissions. Now, I don't have the exact markets for this particular customer and where they're targeting, but my guess based on the cost is they probably are targeting multiple areas that add up to a population of at least 20 million people. I'd be very surprised if the population size is less than that, and that just comes from my experience of doing this for so long. He's probably in 5 to 10 different markets. Like I said, customers that sign up for this, they run their own ad. They follow the course. They use the system. I don't know where they're targeting. I have nothing to do with what they're doing. I just built the system, right? And so they spent $18 to get one of those submissions, and they got 40 leads from that particular strategy. Now, this is where the data is really important and something that I'll be relaying to this actual customer. So the ad was paused at this point in time, potentially by wanting to switch it to another ad. For whatever reason, the ad, this particular campaign was stopped, right? And so I don't know what that reason is, but at this point, there have been 2 of the actual 40 leads have been turned into contracts. And so the cost per contract is $370.75. And the closing, the sole closing so far, the other 2 are, looking good as well. But, I'm recording it as it black and white right now. So nothing has been closed other than the one, right? But the other deals are still in process. So the one closing actually came from the 40 leads with the long form, right? And this has netted this customer $9,200. This is money in their actual account, not, on paper, like they already got this money back. Okay, so that's the data behind the long form lead form. Now, keep in mind, this is a small amount of data as well. It's not like this, what I'm going to, break down here is always going to be the same thing because it is a very small amount of data here. Okay, so the short form data, there was $966 spent on the short form. So he, has spent more on this particular short form. Now, what I found interesting is that the cost per lead is actually more. So it's costing more, right, for somebody to submit less information. And something that our platform shows you is what's called the CR right here, which is the conversion rate. So I'm going to kind of bounce around here just so you understand how this works. But basically, if we get 10 clicks, right, to the form, like people open up the form and one person submits that form, that's a 10% conversion rate. So what I found super interesting here, and this is a combination of having the right templates and the right markets and launching even the ad into the right segment. Sometimes you just have to relaunch it a few times because I've literally seen the same ad, the exact same thing, just not work, and then you turn it off, reduplicate it, and then everything looks great. So what's interesting about this long form is almost 50% of the people that are clicking to open the form are filling it out. And another metric here related to the marketing, if this is going over your head, then just, I'll simplify it at the end. But the cost to show this ad to 1,000 people is $161 to show it to 1,000 people, which is high, very high. Most people probably pay $20, $30. So for some reason, this ad, it's a combination of a few variables. I have my, theories, but this ad just had the right messaging. It had the right markets. It set, targeted the right audience. And so basically 1 out of every 2 clicks was filling out all of that information. And what you can see here, if you're new to this, is that, getting the lowest cost doesn't always mean that a better lead will be created. And what's funny is that this one is actually costing less per lead. But everything here is basically would signal that the cost is going to be higher, right? You're paying over double the amount that you pay to show it to 1,000 people with this particular ad. You're paying 4 times the amount on the cost per click than you are on this ad. But so far, and it's still early and it's still a small data set, this one has created the ROI, and it's created 66% of the contracts, right? 2 of the 3. So I found that very, very interesting, because I would be expecting to tell you, hey, here's the lead form or long form, it costs $18 per lead. Here's the short form, it costs $10. Now, I do believe that if relaunched, this would potentially create a lower cost per lead. Like I said, this is more advanced understanding of how the algorithm works, but I would just say that for whatever reason, the initial conditions of this ad set just started showing it to people, and the cost just so happened to be higher. But over time, I would say that the short form is going to actually create a lower cost per submission. But I found that super interesting. So you can see there's the cost, which is more. There's more leads here, and there is one contract. The cost per contract is obviously the total spend. No closings yet, no net fee. Now, what's important to note, right, and what I see people that have agencies do, or people running their own ads, is we want to let these come to a completion, because if we get a deal from this form and the deal is $50,000, right, and you're not aware of that and you're just looking at the cost per lead and you go shut it off, well, that doesn't make too much sense, right? But a lot of this success with these systems is really just common sense, but sometimes it's, there's too many variables that people try to look at, and so they get in their own way. So we really want to see here, right, how much this second deal nets, and then how much this deal nets, because that'll give us some feedback as to, what actually is, matters, right? Because if this long form here outperforms it, and you really would, ideally we're talking about, hundreds of leads here. We don't want to just do this on 20 leads and then think we know the answer. Ideally, we get 500 leads, 1,000 leads on both of these, and can really see the difference here. But in the short term, we just kind of have to see what happens between these deals. And even then, it's not necessarily signal as to, okay, that's the end all be all. The short form or the long form is just better, right? What I found is that, when we provide this as a service to clients, the long form is really going to prevent the leads in the first place, like people trying to buy a home or just spam leads. You just reduce the amount of those you get on the long form here. And but at the end of the day, I think what's important to say is they both work, and it comes down to your unique testing. Okay, you don't want to just take someone's advice and say, okay, well, it's always going to be this way, so I'm just going to stick to that, right? I recommend long form. That's what I recommend people start with, but I've seen numerous deals get closed on a short form. So at the end of the day, they both work, and if you want to see it, test both, and get enough leads, get enough deals so you can actually measure the difference. So I wanted to share this with you. If you're interested in using this exact system, I'll kind of walk you through outside of choosing the ad, what you get, and then you can look at the link below for more information. But what's cool about this is you can raise your budget anytime. You can turn off the ads anytime. You can cancel the software anytime. So it's not like, you're locked in forever with an agency or something like that. These are all proven templates. I wouldn't release this if this wasn't something I had already tested. So I originally just did done for you services, and all these ads were basically the culmination of what I used for different clients. And once this tool became available, and I saw kind of how I could make a different offer for people that was more affordable, made more sense, and they also get a lot more value, because there's so many other things the software does. There were leads that called this customer and he didn't answer, and then the system will text him back and try to get him to book an appointment. He was sending contracts through here. He's taking notes through here. So there's a lot of things that this provides other than just the leads, but who doesn't want more leads, right? So what's cool about it, though, is like I said, you can cancel at any time and just basically test it out, right? So you launch your ad, right? The leads come into the system. Now, one of the things that happens if you're more visual, I'm more visual personally. That's why I like to show you guys my screen and show you what I'm actually talking about. The leads will actually come into this pipeline here. So you'll see a new lead here. If someone books an appointment, they'll come over here. And then there's things here. If you drag the lead over, it'll text the lead, hey, you missed the appointment. Try to get them to book back. If they did show up, you can move them to the follow-up, and you can also customize these stages as well super easily. So the lead comes in, you can see it visually right here, and then in addition to that, we have already pre-built for you a ton of follow-up text and emails that go to these leads. So you basically never have to worry about checking in with these leads. And what's cool about it is if these leads engage with the follow-up, then the automation will just stop. So you don't have to worry about, unplugging it or turning off the automation or anything complicated. You get the lead, they come into the system, they immediately get followed up with. If they respond, this will stop. And then if they haven't booked an appointment, the bot will qualify them and get them to book an appointment on your calendar. So this is already pre-built, done for you, ready to go. And then if they don't respond to that phase of follow-up, they go to the phase 2. And these are all very just simple, clean, texts and emails. We don't need to overcomplicate it. It really, the majority of these leads are going to engage at some point on one of these messages. And the goal is just to help you get in contact with them. We don't need to over automate or over communicate here what we're doing. And so there's another pre-built sequence right here. And additionally, we also have the bot, right? And the bot is what will actually engage with the lead in real time and get them to book an appointment and go on your calendar. And so you can see that here. Everything's already pre-built, ready to go. Your company name when you sign up gets auto-filled in here. You literally just sign up, launch your ads, and then let the system work and just jump in when they're ready. So that's pre-built there. And yeah, there's some other things that are important, like when you get a lead, you get a text and an email so you know to log in and check. When you get an appointment, same thing. And the lead themselves also get reminded when there's an appointment and stuff like that. So that's what we're doing. That's what this customer, did to get their own deals from the system. Like I said, I built the system. I provided all the frame and the structure after doing this for so long. But at the end of the day, he just executed. He used the templates there. He didn't change it. He didn't mess with it. He didn't try to do anything else other than launch it, leave it, and work the leads. And it's easier said than done, but we know at this point what it takes to find these deals and using ads and using these systems. So if you're interested, there will be a link below, or you can just Google New Breed Investor CRM and you can watch the video on how it works, sign up there, and get immediate access and basically get launched. So hope this was valuable to you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.